Courtney. Today we're going to do a science experiment where we're going to practice our predictions. Now, a prediction is kind of a big science word for guess. It means you're going to guess what you think is going to happen. It's another big science word for that is hypothesis. So some of you, especially those who had me, definitely heard that word before. It's hypothesis. So we're going to make our prediction whether something will sink or float. Now, since we're learning about pirates, I thought sink or float would be really fun because pirates live and work on ships that go in the ocean, and the ocean is obviously made of water. And when you drop something in water, it can do one of two things. It can sink, which means to go all the way to the bottom, or it can float, which means to stay on the top. I even drew some pretty like ocean waves to represent the pirates we're learning about. So for this experiment, you actually only need a few things, and you can kind of pick what you want to make it unique. So you are going to need a plastic container you can see through. You're going to need some water. I have a big bowl of water here. You're going to need objects to test. Now, when you pick your objects, make sure you pick 3 to 5. You can even do 8 or 10 if you really want to make it like a big experiment. But at least 3 to 5. And you want to pick objects that are different materials and even different sizes or different shapes if you want to explore. Now, I picked things that were 3 things that were around the same size and the same shape, but made of very different materials. So I picked a block made of wood, a die made of foam, this purple die, and a blue Lego piece made of plastic. So we have wood, foam, and plastic. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a chart. Well, after you pick your supplies, the first thing you're going to do is create a chart. So your chart should have 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, and as many rows as you need for as many objects as you have. So I have 3 objects, so I have 1, 2, 3 rows, and our 4 columns are the object name, your prediction, and you can do more than 2 people. So you can have 1 person and they're writing in green, and 1 person and they're writing in blue, or whatever you like. Then you're going to say, did it sink when you're finished, or did it float? And then you'll check and see if your prediction was correct. So you can do this on a whiteboard, like I'm doing it, on a chalkboard. You can do it on the sidewalk outside with chalk, or you can just do it on a piece of paper. Whatever fits you, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and begin my experiment by filling up my container with water. You want to make sure there's enough water that you can tell if something sank or floats on top of it. So now I'm going to start with object 1. Let's go ahead and call the wooden block object 1. So we're going to start with our wooden block. Now I'm going to write right here, object 1. Wooden block. Okay, my prediction. I'm going to predict that because it's heavy, it will sink. Let's see. I'm going to say sink is my prediction. Okay, now we're going to experiment, which means test our prediction. Really gently. You don't need to make a big splash, just drop it in the water. You can see that it has some space underneath, and the block is actually floating on top. And the reason the block is floating on top is because it's made of wood. And anything made of wood floats. See, I can even flip it over and do the same thing. It's floating right on the top. It's not going to the bottom water, so it's floating. So did it sink? No. Did it float? Yes. So I predicted it would sink. Did it sink? No. My first prediction was wrong, but that's okay. It doesn't matter if you're wrong or if you're right, as long as you are making a prediction and then checking your results, because that's what real scientists do. They make predictions, and then they test it, and then they check the results, and then they repeat it. So we're going to repeat it with our second object, this plastic Lego. Now I'm going to predict that this plastic Lego will float. So I'm going to write right here, I'm going to write plastic Lego. Prediction. Float. This is also some great writing practice. So my second object is a plastic Lego. My prediction is that it will float. Let's test it out like scientists. I would say, let me see. I would say that's floating. It's not floating quite as high on the water as the block was, but it's definitely not sinking to the bottom. So I would say float. Did it sink? No. Did it float? Yes. Okay, good job. Take out my plastic Lego. All right, so my second prediction was correct. All right, let's test our third object, the foam die. So foam dice. Okay, prediction. I'm also gonna predict this will float. I think I accidentally picked 3 things that will float. So let's see what happens. Float. Okay. All right, ready? Let's test out our prediction. Whoa, this thing floats even higher than the rest. The block sat kind of in the water. The Lego sunk almost to the bottom, but not all the way. And the die won't even go into the water. It floats right on the top. So this one does float. So did it sink? No. Did it float? Yes. So that prediction was right too. So I picked 3 things that floated. We made our predictions, sink, float, float. We tested, did it sink and did it float? And then we reviewed our results. And that's all you need for this really simple experiment that you can practice the scientific method on. When you pick out your object for your student, I would recommend trying to pick out at least 2 or 3 things that sink. It can be hard because a lot of the toys that students play with are made of foam or plastic or wood or things that naturally float. So you might have to pick out a couple things you own that wouldn't be hurt by the water as well. That way you can make your have a little variety in your experiments as well. So there we go. That's how you do this sink or float experiment. It's a really popular one. A lot of students have done. It's a really good chance to practice what they know of the scientific method. Okay, have fun learning about pirates. Have a great week, guys. I'll be seeing you later. Bye.